Hey, how's it going, guys? So, most of you who have been with me from the beginning will probably remember 6 years ago when I made this video entitled The Craziest Thing Happened to Me, in which I said how my bus broke down and I had to wait like 45 minutes for another one. Well, in this video, I'm going to be telling you of something similar happening to me, only this time it wasn't my bus, it was my car. So basically what happened was, we have just finished our months-long trip to Bulgaria to see my family. It was a lot of fun. We even attended a wedding and stuff like that. However, on the motorway, like half an hour after we left the airport, the car started to not accelerate properly, and before long it even began losing momentum. So my dad had to go onto the hard shoulder to, see what the problem was, because if we were going to stop in the middle of a motorway, that would be a massive hazard. So we stopped, turned our hazard warning light on to show the other cars, hey, be careful, there's a car here, and checked to see what the problem was. So he couldn't see what the problem was, so he had to call the AA. But the problem was, this was about midnight, and many people in the AA, they weren't working anymore, they were at their homes, so there are a very limited amount of people working in the AA at that time. And to top it all off, we were in the motorway, so we were in a remote location where the AA couldn't really get to. So they said, oh, we'll be here in a while. And then after a while they said, oh, we'll be here in an hour. And then an hour later they said it'll be another hour. And then they said another 2 hours. And before long, it was 4 hours and still no AA. And that's a bad enough situation on its own. Just the four of us, my parents, me and my brother. However, we had our sister, my 3-year-old sister, with us, who was sleeping in her baby chair, and we couldn't get her out from the side of the door which she was, because that was where the cars were. So we had to get her out through our side of the door, which was a very complicated process. And then after a while my dad had enough and he just called an Uber for me, my mom and my siblings, and then when the AA gets there, he'll be the one to sort it out. However, after about half an hour, the Uber cancelled on us as well. So without us having a choice, we were stuck there, whether we liked it or not. And then about 15-30 minutes later, the light went out because the battery died. We had spent the entire battery just putting the hazard warning lights on, and now we didn't even have that. Luckily for us, about half an hour later, this policewoman came along. She asked us what the problem was. My dad told us what the problem was to her, and then to help us, she put some light of her own and then left us, which was great and all, but we were still stuck on the motorway. So around 2 hours later, at 6 o'clock, the truck finally came. Now, this was not the AA truck, mind you. It was a different truck, a private truck that the AA had called because they couldn't handle it by themselves. But this truck, the company, which this truck that was working for, could. So the truck towed us. Well, he didn't actually tow us. See, what happened was our car was so heavy that he actually had to lift us onto its rear end. And then we went to the nearest service station. And then, at the service station, we had to wait another 2 hours before this handyman came in and took the car off our hands. By then it was like 8 o'clock, and I'd actually fallen asleep in the car, me and the rest of my family. And I remember my dad waking me up saying, it's time to go. But because obviously we couldn't go in our car, we were given a different car, which my dad drove us home, and by the time we got home, it was already like 10 o'clock. We were supposed to get home at like 1 o'clock, and then we got home like 9 hours later. So it's just a crazy situation. The car that we got home with wasn't our actual car. The company let us keep for another week until our car got fixed. That was 1 week that we had without our car. And eventually the car got fixed, everything was fine. It turned out there was like a belt or something that snapped which is very strange because our car is a new car. Stuff like this shouldn't happen to new cars that are only a year old. However, the guy that was operating on the car said it might have had something to do with the fact that we didn't use it for a while because while we're in Bulgaria, we left our car here. But it was only for a few weeks that we left our car, so it shouldn't have been a problem. Anyway, it's just crazy that it had to happen on us on that specific day. But yeah, everything went all right in the end, and there's nothing really to complain about. So anyway, guys, I hope you liked this video. If you did, then like, comment, and subscribe. Bye, guys.